Hey, yo. I want to talk about Age of Eternities, and I'm on the hype train, baby. I like Star Trek, the movie with the whales was the best one. I liked Star Wars as a child. Phantom Menace is unironically my favourite. I like Battlestar Galactica. I love Farscape. And I am ride or die for Red Dwarf. Dave, we need a new series. But do I want sci-fi and magic? Not really. However, I'm willing to admit that anime giant mech battles, star-themed cosmic creatures, and unknowable alien beings have all been a part of magic for a very long time. I guess it's not that big of a jump to point to a thing we all know and say, those are spaceships, which means yeah, magic can be sci-fi. And if WotC's world-building team can do the groundwork like they did with the Phyrexians, and make them feel like they belong in magic's high fantasy world, which is a task because these guys are basically just the Cybermen from Doctor Who, again meaning sci-fi, or if they can make Avishkar feel like it fits naturally into magic's multiverse with all of its, well, I don't even know how to describe what I'm looking at there, but it's certainly higher tech than one would expect from traditional high fantasy. And even though sets like The Brothers' War with its aforementioned giant mechs, Kamigawa and Neon Dynasty with its straight-up cyberpunk inspiration, and Duskmourn with its anachronistic retro late 80s tech aesthetic, I feel all swing the pendulum too far into the sci-fi direction. At least WotC's world-building team have done the bare minimum of giving us some justification as to why all of these sets work within the existing framework and established rules of magic as a setting. For reference, The Brothers' War has giant robots because some wizards like Mishra and Urza are just powerful enough to do that. Kamigawa has cyberpunk stuff because that's what it looks like when the local populace incorporate the plane's kami into technology. And Duskmourn has TVs and stuff because they're not actually TVs, that's just what the ghost world looks like on that plane. Though that doesn't explain the existence of other elements on the plane like the use of synthetic fabrics to make clothing, the use of injection molding to mass-produce plastic products, or light bulbs powered, I assume, via mains electricity. So I feel like Duskmourn is probably over the line in terms of in keeping with magic's pre-established world and swinging too far away from the high fantasy setting. I mean, that's literally just a torch and a cassette tape. If demons hadn't taken over the plane, it would be indistinguishable from our own. And if you're in the comments right now saying, "Ooh, magic doesn't have to be high fantasy, you're just a hater, Universes Beyond proves magic can be anything at all, it doesn't matter, you're just a boomer who doesn't like change, if you don't like what magic is, you should quit the game, etc, etc. Then I would say, no, magic has always been high fantasy, that's what the game is. Anything that deviates too far away from that is a thematic failure, because it hasn't retained magic's high fantasy roots, or paid enough homage to the pre-established tone, and if you don't like that fact, then you don't like what magic is and maybe you should consider quitting. I have a video in the works for the channel on this exact conversation and exploring the idea of whether magic is dead. The audio is recorded and edited, I just need to finish it, but I haven't done it yet because it's very piss and vinegar. And that's just not where I'm at right now. I've said everything I've said today so far to preface the fact that even though I have reservations about how well sci-fi can work within magic, or any other non-high fantasy genre, especially with WotC's recent track record, pun intended on the word track, wheelsing, I actually am very excited about Age of Eternities. Though thinking on it, I suppose you don't like magic makes for a powerful thumbnail. I could put Tezzeret on there and that's better than anything I was planning on doing. Should I do that? Yeah. Hey! Speaking of going off script and making decisions in real time, that's kind of what I want the rest of this video to be. I'm sure that by the time that you're seeing this, every card in the set will have been revealed, but that's not where I'm at right now at time of recording. And in fact, aside from watching that sick trailer that was a goddamn breath of fresh air because it looks like Magic is actually taking itself seriously again, and isn't just being used as a vehicle to produce memes and corporate crossovers. Sorry, sidetracked again, but I saw Tezzeret's new dark steel body and yeah, I was hyped. But aside from this trailer, by some miracle and probably due to how ridiculously non-stop I've been lately, I've managed to avoid all spoilers. I know WotC put out this debut video, but I haven't watched it. I know card reveals are being drip-fed to us online, but I haven't looked at them. And I know the story is out, but I haven't read it. The Red Bobcat, baby fresh. See, that was a weird thing to say. This is usually why I rely more on a script. But my point is, in today's video, with that thumbnail and all I guess, I thought I'd take the opportunity, knowing nothing about the set provides, to look at some of those cards with fresh eyes and give you my first thoughts and impressions. And again, share some excitement for the set because I have hope it will be good. I guess we're going to see if that lasts. My apologies if, even though the set's not out yet, the conversation has already moved on to the Avatar spoilers or whatever, and me doing a kind of reaction style thing feels like I'm a bit late to the party as everyone's already over Age of Eternities. And quite frankly, this video probably should have come out a week ago, But you have to understand how important it was that I upload my, I'm sure, very popular and well-received and highly viewed Alpha Centauri video. And before I get to the cards, I want to mention a few other things too. First, I have watched this trailer, there weren't any spoilers, but something did dawn on me, and I'm sure I'm just being an idiot because I feel positively about Tezzeret, but I could not for the life of me tell you why. Like, I think back to his recent stories, and in War of the Spark he had the planar bridge and was helping Nicol Bolas. But if I remember, when he was confronted, he basically said, yeah, I'm not actually that invested in this, and so kind of just wandered off. And then I had to be reminded he was even in March of the Machine, because again, all I remember him doing is saying he would help Elish Norn in exchange for his dark steel body, which is sick, by the way, that's cool and I love it. But once he got it, didn't he again just kind of wander off? So what's his plan? Why is he doing any of that? Why is he in space? And why do I like him? Because it doesn't feel like he's done anything lately. Let me know in the comments. I will get around to reading the story at some point, which probably clears it all up. But for me right now, I have a big question mark over Tezzeret. So yeah, let me know, why do you love him? Next, I won't be looking at every card revealed thus far, but a random selection of the showcase frame ones. And I'm doing that because the fancy border cards tend not to include reminder text for the mechanics. For instance, the Speed Demon from Aetherdrift doesn't have a reminder text for Flying, Trample, Start Your Engine, or Speed on it. I assume the same will be true for the Edge of Eternity showcase cards, so I thought it would be fun to take those and use their blankness to try and guess what the new keywords do based on names and context clues alone. And finally, I have booted up the wiki and have managed to navigate to the section that talks about the new mechanics introduced without reading any of it, just to make sure at the end I didn't accidentally miss any without realising it. And with all of that being said, let's look at the cards. Okay, I've picked a random selection of cards here. I've done my best to kind of disassociate while choosing them so as not to read any of the words, which means I actually don't know what we're about to look at, but up first is... Hemnon. Oh no, okay. Alright. Okay, so it's not Menon. Menon. It's Menon. Double M. How do you pronounce that? Oh, I'm falling at literally the first hurdle. This is why I script this sort of thing normally. Okay, I'm going to pronounce double M as Menon. Menon, the right hand. Jesus wept. He's got flying. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Well, that screams commander, and yeah, he's legendary. He's a jellyfish advisor. Okay, I was assuming Eldrazi by the art for some reason. You may cast artifact spells from the top of your library. Artifacts you control have taps. Spend this mana only to cast spells from anywhere other than your hand. Wow. Ooh. No new mechanics, but that's not even mythic. That's standard legal, goddamn. The power creep is real, huh? Anyway, an interesting card, but not really what I was looking for, so moving on. Oh, okay. I said I liked the white text on black background in Tarkir Dragonstorm, but I don't like this. That's not doing it for me. Maybe it's because the text frame feels too boxed off. I don't know, but okay. Evendo Walking Haven. Oh, it's a land with the planet subtype. Okay. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, but this is my least favourite trope in sci-fi. Star Wars is most guilty of it, where they're like, oh, this is the desert planet where everything is desert. This is the ice planet where everything is ice. And this is the city planet where everything is city. Like, Magic can be guilty of that with its settings, but given that each plane is required to include all 5 manners of colour, just to function mechanically, it usually does a pretty good job of avoiding that trope. Like, take Ravnica. Yeah, it's essentially a big city planet, but it makes a point of being like, here's the natural forest section with the big important tree in it, which breaks up the plane a little bit. I hadn't really considered this, but I guess when scaling out to space, we are going to run the risk of being like, and this is the forest planet where everything is forest. And it means those places end up not feeling real or lived in. Like, again, back to Star Wars, take Tatooine for instance. That entire planet is basically just one town because it's all that we ever see. And if the world builders don't care about the rest of the setting, then why should I? And what's even the point of having it? It makes the world feel hollow, you know? But anyway, this land enters tapped. Taps to add a green. Station. 12 plus. In a circle. Spend to tap to add green for each creature you control. Okay. So that's going to mean station as in mana station, like crew. And that 12 plus is going to mean on a turn where you've crewed the planet for 12 or more, you can do the ability. It's not going to be 12 creatures though, because that's an insane number of creatures. But it is going to be creatures because you wouldn't tap land or enchantments or whatever to thematically mana station. Oh, unless it's like that Theros ability that cares about what's it called? Devotion. Is the planet stationed once you have 12 pips of green mana on the board? No, it's going to be casting cost or power, I think. Probably power, because a big creature can mana station more successfully. I don't know, and then what? The planet has some sort of... Oh, okay, that's what the art is. There's like a factory or something on the planet. This little man is looking out of a window of the factory, and if the factory has enough workers to man the stations, then well, it's producing mana, so I guess it's a mining colony. Once it's in operation, you get to the added effect. Let's get the non-showcase version up and, station. Tap another creature you control. Another creature? Does the planet count as a creature? Put charge counters on it. Okay. Equal to its power on this planet. Right, okay. Station only as a sorcery. So yeah, I was right. It's like a factory on the planet that... Well, no, hang on, because they're not crewing it like a vehicle. Their essence is being absorbed and converted into charge counters. And the bigger the creature, the more charge counters you can juice out of them. Soylent Green is people. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Probably not what they're going for, but there is an implication that the creatures you tap are being milked for charge counters. Gross. Gross. Anyway, next. Dyadrine Synthesis Amalgam. Is that Darksteel? Legendary artifact creature. Trample. Enters with a +1/+1 equal to the number of mana spent to cast it. Oh, it's X cost. It feels again very... Are all of these from the commander precons? It feels very commandery because that's just to get around command attacks. Or to get a bonus for it. When you attack, you may remove a counter for each of 2 creatures you control. If you do, draw a card, okay. And create a token. Oh yeah. And also not mythic. Good god. What are the mythics gonna look like? I'm gonna have to do a... If I get sent a box of this, I'll have to do a is this set for Commander video, because Christ almighty. The power level. Anyway, next. Possibility Technician. Okay, now that sounds like a magic card. I'm so glad none of these names so far have been like holy cow or whatever. I'm so sick of the memes and puns, like Magic's afraid to take itself seriously. Like the designers are embarrassed by the game, so they want to beat anyone to the punch and make the jokes before they do. Real Marvel movie energy vibes, you know? I think cards like holy cow are really self-deprecating, so I'm glad I'm not seeing any of that here. This is a Kavu Artificer, also a rare. Whenever this creature or another Kavu, okay, so there's more than one Kavu in the set, exile the top card of your library. Oh, this is another commander card, and this dude is about to start making Kavu tokens, I bet. Or, if it doesn't, then maybe there are more Kavu in the set. Are we getting Kavu Tribal, or is this just for like a commander one-off? For as long as the card remains exiled, you may play it. Play it, so that includes land, if you control a Kavu. Oh, and he's not legendary. So this is Kavu support. Probably means Kavu confirmed. I'm saying that like you don't already know, all of you guys. Warp 1 and a red. Okay. This is going to be... It's in red. So this is going to be, you cast it for its warp cost, and then it enters the battlefield, and then at the end of the turn, you return it to your hand, exile it, graveyard... No, sacrifice doesn't feel right. Goes back to your hand would feel like returning to a spaceship, but exile feels like going to space, and I'm seeing the word exile a lot on the card, so I'm going to guess that you exile it at the end of the turn. Let's see. You may cast this card from your hand for its warp cost, spot on so far. Exile this creature at the beginning of the next end step, okay. Ooh, and then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. Oh, that's very good. That's really powerful. So all of these are going to have enter the battlefield triggers. Hang on. Yeah, whenever this creature... Yeah, so this triggers off of itself too. Very powerful. A second trigger with no downside for a reduced cost. Standard, man. Oh, I don't play standard, but is this the normal power level for things now? Madness. Okay, next up we have... oh, another land planet. Blah blah blah. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or enchantment you control, except it's legendary. Alright, that doesn't feel as powerful as the green one. 4 mana and 12 powers worth of creature to get a single token copy of something. Depends on the something, obviously. But I'm less impressed by this, which, given the power level of everything else in the set, is actually a good thing, I suppose. Next. Oh, it's the red one now. Create a colourless token. Then creatures you control get +1 and have haste until end of turn. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit more powerful. I can very much see this being a way to win a game of Commander released. But okay. Next up. Oh, we have our first mythic. It's a creature. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create 2 tokens, or put a counter on each creature you control. That's pretty good. That's pretty good without being busted. It still feels very commandery, but you need to have the creature, which is of course a 2/4, so it's harder to remove. It might as well have just been an enchantment, but okay. You need to have the creature, then cast a second spell, and it's a powerful effect, but it's not game-ending, which is pretty decent for a mythic. It's not legendary though, so you could stack the ability. But again, it's in white, usually Magic's weakest colour in Commander, so maybe the other mythics are crazier in power level. Next. The Dominion Bracelet, because we couldn't get the rights to the Infinity Gauntlet, which is weird because they do work with the Marvel. I don't like the art style. Actually, hold up, that's my prediction. I'm going to guess Marvel crossover Secret Lair. This will be the Infinity Gauntlet. But yeah, I don't like the art style. I bet this is from one of those Japanese collector boosters. It's another mythic. Is that mythic? It's hard to tell with the colours. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has 15? Exile this, you control target opponent during the next turn. Okay. This ability costs X less. Alright. To activate, where X is this creature's power. Oh, because it's an equipment. Right, is there some sort of big creatures matters theme going on? Are we about to break Emrakul? Are we... I know Yargle and Multani already broke the record for highest power, but it's also a vanilla creature if I remember. Are we about to make Emrakul look weak? Is there a card in this set that's going to be better than her? Or with a higher power level? I hope not. God, this game, the power creep is insane. Next up, Alpharael Stonechosen. Sick name, I like it. Is he a core? No, oh he is mythic though. Okay, I'm liking the vibes of this dude. I hope he's a main character. Ward, discard at random. Sure. Void, okay. But I get the feeling because it's italicized that we won't be able to guess the mechanics because it looks like it's one of those non-keyword ones that just takes a common mechanic in the set and gives it a name. Like Coven in Midnight Hunt. So, okay, before I read anything else, I just looked and I saw whenever it attacks. Okay, eyes away. Before I read anything else, whenever it attacks, void. They haven't redone Annihilator, have they? Like, whenever it attacks, it sucks things into a void and exiles a bunch of your opponent's stuff before the attack even happens? No, I can't imagine they'd do that. I bet the name is meaningless and it's just an attack trigger in the set. No, they wouldn't do that either. They'd give it something extra to distinguish it. Void, whenever you attack and if something was exiled this turn, because I'm seeing a lot of exile matters. Alright, let's look. Whenever it attacks, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn... Okay, I was close, but it's like Morbid except for any kind of permanent. And it's not dies, it's specifically when it left the battlefield, so it could be exile. Or a spell warped this turn, okay, alright. Little bit of a synergy between mechanics, why not? Defending player loses half their life rounded up, god damn! That's not what the mechanic is going to do for everyone that uses Void. That's just for this man. Void will just be the name for the attacks and Void trigger. The results are different per card, but oh, I love him. Who's he a cleric for? Who does he worship? Beyond the edge of devotionalize eternal ambition. I want to know everything about this man. Let's look at his normal version. Oh, he looks like winter. Why do all of the humans look like that now? Like they've all got the same face and haircut. No new words on the mechanic, so yeah, Void is just an attack trigger if something left the battlefield or warped. All things end, I'd rather embrace the truth that the fantasy of eternal light. Yeah, alright mate. I think I preferred the non-edgelord version of him in the showcase art, but whatever. Next. Oh, it's a spacecraft. I thought we were calling them spaceships. I wonder if that's a different thing and a spaceship is a different mechanic. Okay, tap for mana. A lot of mana. 5 cost though. Add mana for the number of charge counters on it. Very good. That's... yeah, that'll be adding at least 20 mana on a turn, right? Wow, ugh. Also not a mythic, Jesus. Are we done with the new mechanics though? Because it's just station again. Is there just the 3? Warp, station and void? Okay, next. Ragost, Deft, Gastronaut. Okay, it's just the one card. It's just one. Legendary creature, Lobster Citizen. Doesn't seem to have any new mechanics. I was hoping this set wouldn't have any mean cards in it. Wordplay puns and jokes like this they're just not a good replacement for world building. And I suppose, in fairness, this isn't holy cow levels of scraping the barrel for ideas, and yes, Magic has always had funny cards. But in so many sets recently, I've seen WotC use cards with puns as a crutch to fill the set out. Because they haven't spent enough time developing the world to include cards with anything more than surface level references to the tropes they're depicting and first thought wordplay jokes. It's like they don't have time for a second draft and Gastronaut sounds a bit like Astronaut. Well, that'll do because we have 300 cards to design and no better ideas. But if it's just the one card, then that's fine. But if it's another set of them, I'm going to be really disappointed. And that was it. That was all of the cards that I chose at random. Let's look at the wiki to see if I missed any mechanics. Station, warp, and void. So no. Okay, then I got a pretty good spread. Aside from the lack of commons and uncommons, this seems like a pretty decent representation of the set. Am I still excited for Edge of Eternities? Hard to say, really. Nothing here really jumped out at me. Some ups and downs in there. I'll need to read the story, I guess, and take a look at the set as a whole to figure out if it works. I'll be interested to see what you can do with Mr. Lose Your Half Your Life Man, because that could be very fun in gameplay. And there is a very high power level and lots of stuff for what feels like Commander in there. What are your thoughts? How accurate was I in everything that I said? What are you excited for? Let me know in the comments below. And, well, that's the issue with not scripting a video, because I don't have an outro. Hey, come check out my Patreon. I could use the support to bring you more videos like this. There's the link. Bye! Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone that supports me, like 27 publications, Eggboy the Particle that permeates all existence, Blank Space, Wanpako Jozu, Miss Murder, a random Patreon, and the rest of my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page. We can get your name credited on screen too. Check it out in the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, install an ad block, and most importantly, subscribe and share this video with a friend. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, or you want to see me do a video on another subject, let me know and I will see you next time. You like non-scripted stuff like this? Was it fun or was it messy? Let me know.